From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin and pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filth with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains. Just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Beneath the warp the souls are bound, to spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain, a future where only disease remains. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. The rot spreads, there's no escape. The death god seals your fate.
Go for it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Discussing a Resilient podcast. We do have all three of us, believe it or not, though at the moment Dave is a Death Shroud cartoon. He will emerge from his chrysalis and turn back into the beautiful Death Guard butterfly that he is very shortly. But in the meantime, how are you, Aiden? How have you been keeping?
I'm good, thank you very much, Will. I've been keeping myself a little busy, a little bit of hobby work, obviously got a bit hyped up from the Adepticon, finally seeing our Codex and whatnot. And but yeah, part of that, not too much. Like it's a bit of a downtime, but you've got an event obviously coming this weekend, which surprised maybe the topic of the stream, and we're also going to touch on the event that I have the following weekend, and that's also going to be a topic of the stream. But yeah, I mean, part of that though, it's been fairly quiet on the home front really. Just painting up some extra guys, getting them highlights on there. I'm just trying to like spice up my army, redo the weapons, redo the base, and just trying to like level it up. I was going to consider like repainting my entire army, and then I got 2 models in, realised how stupid that would be, and then just
your army's beautiful, mate. Unless you like changing your scheme and you're going to go from
that was the consideration. But after doing it for a bit, I was just like, you know what? Nah.
Yeah, if you're going to paint a whole army from scratch again, repaint it, just get a new army. Do you know what I mean? Like do Emperor's Children or something like that.
Yeah.
And paint them rather than repaint what's already a good paint job. Is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But the Dave's cartoon Death Shroud. He disappeared, so I assume that he's going to emerge from his chrysalis very soon. But in the meantime, chat. How's chat? Is everyone keeping well?
Yeah, we've already got 56 people in the chat. It's good to see everyone. And thank you very much to Mr. Devin Bryant, who's already become a Plague Marine on tonight's stream. So thank you so much for that.
Woo! An Urgling check.
Exactly. And for those who don't know, a Plague Marine.
Guys.
Oh, hello, Mr. Death Guard Dave. How are you doing?
Yeah. Only way is Essex Dave, I think it is tonight with the that beautiful tan he's got.
Yeah, bit of a downgrade from the White Lotus, but I'm sure I'll take it.
But yeah, thank you very much, Devin, for becoming a Plague Marine member. So for those who don't know very quickly, welcome to Discuss the Resilient podcast. If you're new here, I'm Aiden, this is Dave, this is Will, with the hosts. This is obviously a channel fully dedicated to playing a Death Guard competitively in Warhammer 40,000. And we're a growing channel. It basically came from the days of doing me and Will just doing audio on a black and white back screen.
When Death Guard was D for Death Guard.
When it was very much D for Death Guard.
In the game.
And we've built up from there. So if you want to support the channel, please leave a like and a subscribe. If you haven't, likes really help us grow. And if you really enjoy the channel, consider becoming a Plague Marine. You get access to our Discord. So Mr. Devin, right now, if you want to go to our YouTube channel homepage, go to our posts on there. You can see a tab called Posts. Scroll down a bit, you'll find a link to the Discord that you can join now because you're a Plague Marine. Get yourself in there, get yourself involved in all the cool activities that we have going in there and the good discussions going in. But thank you so much to everyone. And everyone else that is in chat who is a member or isn't a member, it's good to see you all. I see some Kirby faces, I see some good regular names. You've got Zio, Good Job, Sam Bourneman, Nurgle Cultist, all these good people, Phil Gagnon, Ben Hayden, Necros, Aaron, Tyler Clazel, all these names. I can't go through them, I'll be here all day. And some new ones as well I've not seen before. So hello to you guys, I hope you are doing well. Dave, how have you been?
Good. How are you guys? Let's go. Good to be here. Sorry, I had some technical issues, and I did the classic restart my PC, and it's fine. Yeah. So no rhyme or reason for any particular issue. Just didn't work.
Yeah. So things might be a bit broken tonight because for anyone that does use Discord regularly, Discord had a nice, large, lovely update this week, and it basically broke everything. So I've had to fix it and podge it all together. So that was fun. But I think we seem to be all right. Audio levels seem okay on my end. Hopefully, it is for the listeners. But yeah, it's good to have everyone sort of back again. It's been about two or so weeks since we had all three of us on at the same time. And I know it was me and Will, then me and Dave, and now it's all three back together again. So it's nice to see everyone. And,
How are you guys? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, we're just sort of catching up a little bit. Aiden's been telling us about how he's been sort of doing some hobbying. I've not done an awful lot actually. Normally I'd be panicking a lot more about Sheffield and the list, but this time the list is something I've played.
Yeah,
I think my list is incredibly boring. Don't take this the wrong way, Aiden, but I was thinking, short of the two War Dogs, this is like a classic Aiden list. It's like, if I replace the War Dogs with a Plague Bus and another squad of Plague Mates, it's just a little bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't do one thing incredible, just a little bit of everything. And the idea is hopefully I can express some play skill, which again is the compliment to Aiden to this list, but it might also be the most average list in the most average player on the planet. So we'll have to see how it all unfolds at Sheffield. I feel like I need more of a skew for it to be a will list. I feel like there needs to be does this thing, and it does this thing really well, and everything else is just kind of sort of in there. But yeah, it's interesting. But your list for Sheffield, Dave, is quite an interesting one, isn't it? You brought the big boy back.
I brought the big boy back. Yeah, I have. Before we get into that, I was just going to say, Will, have you noticed? I was going to say that the clocks going forward has made a massive difference, right? It's one of the first times I can see you in your room. You haven't got your light on, but Aiden still looks like he's in the Batcave.
Nat won't let me open up the curtains. Light is forbidden in this household.
I bought the despoiler back out with double battle cannon and the Ruined Spear rocket pods. He's coming back out to play. So I ran this list last week at club against Mordaka, a slightly different. More Daka. It had a Gorkanaut and a Morkanaut in it as well, but and I was really pleased with how I used it in the game. So I thought it'd be fun to bring it back out, and it's just a fun model to put on the table, to be honest, and to take to events. So yeah, looking for the slight psychological skew that it has when you put that in amongst Death Guard.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think your list is just really, really, really unique. Like it's got the Land Raider as well, hasn't it? I assume.
Land Raider, 2 PBCs,
Yeah.
2 Predator Destructors with Plague Heavy Bolters, a full big squad of Death Shroud with a Lord of Contagion and Typhus, so maybe them running solo. In the game I played last week, I put the 6 Death Shroud in the Land Raider, no characters attached, hid everything, and then in my turn, he played cagely. He was like, oh, I don't really want to expose everything to all your guns. And then I was like, well, have the Land Raider, disembark, made the charge into a group of boys, killed 20 boys, piled in, consolidated into another 20 boys. When they fell back, killed 14 of them, and then he had to shoot, an entire unit of large group of looters and a Gorkanaut, and then charge them with the Gorkanaut to finish them off. And it absorbed all the firepower from his backline, which meant the rest of my stuff wasn't getting shot, which then let me bring all the guns out, and I still had them all on the table for the next round. I mean, I was lucky in that a PBC survived on 1, a Mephitic Blighthauler survived on 1, but Cloud of Flies, that's what it's there for. So
yeah, for sure.
Nice.
So for those who don't know, Will and Dave are at the Sheffield Super Major that is going on this weekend. So we're going to ask them some questions as well. So I'll tell you what, we'll go back to your list then, Dave. So do you want to go? You go from the top of your list. So do you want to actually read the list out for the chat so we can understand what you're taking and maybe give some reasons to it, and then we'll start touching on some generic questions like, what are you going to do about Daka? Because Daka's obviously still there.
exactly.
And I imagine most of you just going to be like, well, I'm just going to do what I can do. Like, it is what it is. It's the round.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But, we'll ask the questions. It's probably what chat's going to be interested in. So, do you want to take your list from the top, Dave?
Yeah, sure. So, firstly, as well, if anyone is at the event, please do come and say hello. It'd be great to see you. If you are there, I will take the shirt that I took to LVO that's got some signatures from some of the community on it. So, if anyone else is there, we can add to the collection. My list is called "If It's Green and It Looks Like an Orc, It Can Beep Right Off." Is what the list is actually called. I stole that from one of the Vanguard Tactics guys. He's also called his list that for the event. So I've got characters-wise, I've got Lord of Contagion and Typhus. The Lord of Contagion has got Deadly Pathogen. This list is 2,000 points on the nose as well. So that's where the last 15 points went into that. I've got 2 units of cultists with the usual full array of weapons. They also did a little bit of work, which was quite good and just got into places. Death Guard Land Raider, obviously with the Soul Shatters, the Twin Plague Heavy Bolter, Plague Bolter, and the Havoc Launcher. Then 2 Predator Destructors, both with Plague Heavy Bolters. I've come back to absolutely loving these things since running them since LVO, I think. Just really, really enjoy it. 6 Death Shroud Terminators, a Blight Drone with Heavy Blight Launcher, a Mephitic Blight Hauler, 2 PBCs, both with Entropy Cannons, 10 Poxwalkers, and the Night Despoiler.
I like the fact that the 5-point drop on the Mephitic Blight has allowed this to be 2k on the nose. Just snuck it in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what got it in there. So his drop and then the enhancement got it on there. So that is my list. And the Despoiler's got Twin Battle Cannon, Triple Heavy Stubber, Ruin Spear Rocket Pod on the top.
Nice. I was going to ask you, is it the Gatling one or is it the Battle Cannon one? So you come for the Battle
No,
Cannon.
I know a lot of people like the Gatling Cannon. I don't like the Gatling Cannon because it's strength 6.
Yeah, that's fair. The strength 6
Can you mix the arms, can't you? Still on the Chaos?
Yeah, if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you can.
I feel like a melter and a battle cannon might still be quite good.
Yeah,
I think a chain cannon.
Yeah, I think it could be. I just personally prefer double. Dave likes big stuff, as Morton just said. It's pretty true. But I just prefer I'd rather gamble the 4d6 plus 12 and get a big number than just get with strength 10 and then potentially putting something in Contagion to lower it, to bring it down to either a 4, so take a T11 model down to a 10, or a 10 down to a 9 and then get 3s on it. And the flat 3 damage is just, you roll a ton of shots into Terminators, even if they've got a base save and they have to roll a ton of them, they lose several, as I've had happen to several people. But that's why I like that loadout anyway.
That makes sense. Definitely. Okay, well, that's quite good. So when it comes to Sheffield, what are you trying to prey on? What do you think this list is sort of like looking for, or do you think it's a bit of an all-round list that can sort of go into anything, or do you think it's also got any bad matchups? Are you worried about hordes or heavy armor, or?
I think this list has got a bit of an answer for everything, which is quite nice, and I think it's going to give my, it's going to give my opponent something to think about no matter what they've got, which I think is pretty good. I think whether it's infantry or Aiden, just in case you're moving, you've got Discord script. There you go. So it's gone back to the just in case it's it's basically got a bit of an answer for everything. I think even the battle cannons into vehicles when you're rolling large numbers of dice that cause saves. The flat threes add up really, really quickly. So into something like smaller knights, like I'm quite happy it's shooting into those. But then I've got 4 las cannons on a T12 model, which is easy to get cover, plus drop counterflies on it, and the Landy's got a 2-up save against AP2. It's nice to be able to play that game back to Marines as well when they're like, oh, here's my tank, and it's back on, you're shooting with AP2 and I'm on my base armor save. So it looks like we can play that one too. And then the Death Shroud are still there for either in the right matchup, they can still be there for the drop in. If not, they can sit inside the Land Raider, or they can just threaten a move in advance onto an objective. And what this list does really well is it target saturates my opponent. If I want to go turn and I put out a Land Raider, 2 Predators, 2 PBCs, I've got a T12 Knight stood on behind cover poking out over the top, and then 6 Death Shroud on the table. What are you going to shoot?
Yeah.
And even if you do shoot into it and you kill a couple of things, the hit back is very, very severe. The mortars give me the indirect, which is nice for picking up scoring units. The cultists get me, a scout, push out either stick in objective turn 1 or push right up to a wall, put something in contagion and ball blight it. There's I think it's a bit of a mix. I haven't built it for any particular. I haven't built it to deal with Mordaka, for example, but if I do get enough shots onto different units, this list picks up squads of infantry really, really, really quickly.
Oh, that's quite good. So yeah, and
that's my thinking anyway. Hopefully it'll be useful.
Do you think 2 PBCs is enough then? Because when I ran PBCs last, actually, I ran them on and off a little bit recently, but I did find 2 was enough, as long as you don't expect them to kill things outright and you're happy chipping away. But then if you want to kill things outright, you definitely need the third one to have a sort of an expected chance of doing it, I found.
Yeah, 3. I think we've talked about this before, and I think you've said it several times, Paul, and I agree with you. I think the third at 180 is too expensive to put into the list, I think. And also 2 Predators, 2 PBCs, a big Knight, and a Land Raider. If you then drop something else to put in a third PBC for some reason, you get into severe car parking territory. Yeah. And whilst I'm quite happy doing that, even I'd be 3 PBCs plus all of that is a bit much, especially in a search and destroy kind of a setup. So I think 2 does the work. I think also from you're right, you don't expect the PBCs to pick up everything, but what the mortar is good for is, yes, there might be a little 5-man squad somewhere, and you chip it away once and then you finish it off. Or actually, if there's a couple of wounds left on a tank or a rhino or something like that, the mortar's really good for just one of them goes through and you do that 2 damage and you get it.
Well, that makes sense.
So
sounds really good. Should we check in with chat quickly, and then I'll run through mine quickly.
Yeah, man, that'd be good to hear what
talk a bit about team lists with Aiden as well, because he's got some stuff coming up and might be interesting to talk about some different skews and places where Death Guard can go, especially with the upcoming of the Codex. Because I said to Aiden before, I think you said in the chat, when we've been talking to Aiden at the Stonehammer chat about my Nurgling / Gunline Death Guard list, we're doing tweaks where everyone after a while I was like, it's actually not a bad list, this. I'm kind of annoyed that it's too late to submit to Sheffield, because I might have just gone, screw it, we'll go balls deep and just see what happens. So how's chat doing anyway? What have we?
Tentacles flexing his 10 months consistent membership. Woo! Thank you so much, Tentacles. He says 10 months is the gestation period of a great unclean one. Yeah, that's fair play. That is fair play. Hopefully my mic is no longer roboty. I had 2 outputs because Discord again reset itself. Woo. Hopefully it's fixed. 1 gifted membership from the Lazy Chicken. Thank you so much. It did go to Zito, however, so keeps getting him. And then Tom Bolton coming with the £2 super chat saying he's looking forward to the Flyblown discussion. We had another person up top saying Aiden returns to Flyblown Host. Happy April Fools to you guys too. No, not April Fool. Potentially, it'll be after the discussion for Sheffield. But there's definitely going to be a bit of talk about potential of Flyblown Host. So yeah,
Nice.
you can look forward to that. Michael Allen asks, how do you guys deal with Votan? Do you run the -1 weapon skill, blizzard skill, or -1 armor? For me, it's going to be personally -1 armor. Votan just barely has any invulns.
Yeah.
So -1 save against them is absolutely brutal. And to be honest, like, because of the tokens, they're going to be +1 to hit on your important targets, which
Exactly.
kind of negates it. So you're better to just kill them. Like, and I always say, like,
Also, with gun lines is a good summary on the -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill. They can just move and reverse out of the contagion. Like you can maybe force them to leave an objective, but the stuff that's killing you is rarely the stuff that's scoring their points. So they might leave that chaff unit with the 2 OC bodies on, reverse the land fortress in that case, and just blast you outside of your contagion. Do you know what I mean? So it's generally like a flawed strategy. Whereas Aiden's right, you want to add it where you can control your movement in your movement phase, put them in -1 save, and then make your damage really count. Is the better strategy in summary. And the same with Tower and stuff like that.
yeah. And Zito paying the favour back with a gifted membership. He said, "I see you, Les Chicken. I raised peer pressured, bullied is the word you're looking for, Zito. Bullied."
And just to build on Will's point, so when I played Mordaka, I think a lot of people might go, "Oh, you go into that playing -1/-1." I went into that with -1 save, and I just made sure I was putting stuff on no save to just wipe it off the board. Like in that playing into that thing, you want to reduce bodies as fast as possible.
Yeah, you need
Mitchy Bolt is really good too.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, you need to stop the amount of dice rolled in it, and the only way to do that is, because again, you can make them hit on 6s, cool, every 6 is 3 hits, so you just need to make the dice go away, and the only way dice go away is dead models, because dead models deal no damage. So thank you for the gift membership, Zito. Congrats.
Thanks,
Zito. And Dennis Lindkvist, thank you very much for coming to play with me, mate. Really appreciate that spot. Really awesome. And then we've got one more question, a bit off topic, but if they split Plague Marines into ranged and melee like Emperor's Children, what about the names Infectors and Contaminators? I think that's
very good, actually.
Yeah, Infectors
You know what?
the aggressive one.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if that's actually what they come out.
That's actually what they were called. Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all. Chat's chilling. Chat's having a good time. So,
Nice.
Mr. Willen, go on, take us through your Sheffield list, the boring list. Sorry.
So see, I feel like this list, like, halfway through, it's just like it becomes an Aiden list. So I've got Typhus, a Lord of Contagion attached to 3 Death Shroud, 2 squads of 5 Plague Marines, 1 squad of 10 Fight First Plague Marines, 2 Rhinos, 3 Predators, 1 Bloat Drone, 1 Mephitic
kidding. Okay.
2 Predators, 20 Poxwalkers.
Nice.
And this is the only bit that separates from being an Aiden list.
And
2 War Dog Carnivores.
yes.
So without that, I feel like Aiden would just swap the. If we asked Aiden, I feel in chat, but like, what would you change? You go, stop them carnivores for like the Plague Bus, another squad of cultists and something else.
I actually really like one carnivore.
You're like, oh, and some Nurglings. So I've got Nurglings too.
Yeah.
And I feel very much like I've just copy pasted one of your old lists.
How many Nurglings have you got, Will? 3, or have you gone 6?
Just 3. Yeah, I did debate putting 6 in, because I could have took the Bloat Drone to a Beast of Nurgle and used 25 points to make it 6. The Bloat Drone is the thing I'm least happy about in the list, to be honest. But I bounced it backwards and forwards with some people from our team, and they were like, the double spitter, like Overwatch threat's too good at the moment. But I wanted a second Blight Hauler because I thought more anti-tank. But they taught me out a bit. So yeah, or a Beast, because I am very impressed with the Beast. But the problem with the Beast was, I was just going to end up with like 20 to 25 points. It just didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So rather than have that spare points, it was better to put it into a demon engine. But it's the list has a very specific play style. It plays in a specific way. Every game I'm going to do the same things. I've got units to attack their expansion, hold my expansion, threaten the middle, bit of shooting, a bit of stuff that drops in the board. Like it's a very fixed play style, to the point where I'm worried about how formulaic its game plan is. I'm like, if someone realizes the formula, and like, oh, hang on. Because it used to be like that with the 30 Plague Marines, 3 Carnivores and 3 Predators. It was quite a formulaic play style, because it was such a different list, I guess. No one really knew what to expect. Like we talked about when Zito had on, I think it's one of these things where you look at it and you'd have no idea what it's doing. But I feel like this one, because it's quite cookie cutter Death Guard, I feel like people are like, I know exactly what everything's doing here. And so I just shut me down. I'm like, I don't really have a plan B. So yeah,
but
I'm not sure what
you're doing the
expect.
fundamentals, though, aren't you? Like you said, you're talking about, having something to kind of damage the middle. You've got an expansion attack plan, like kind of there's still fundamentals this game you've got to do, and your opponent's got to still go and hold objectives. So as long as you're operating around that, and then just do a bit of will magic with your carnivores, and they won't know what's coming.
Yeah, it's all about those carnivores. But yeah, I mean it's a list I'm happy with. The only thing, like I say, that I do feel like the bloat drone probably should be a blight hauler for me, and what I want the list to do. But like I say, when I had the 5 points spare and talking to people just felt like the bloat drone adds up other channels. But I always seem to play knights more than other people for whatever reason. But everyone's like, you need to be Tech and Felder. I'm like, mate, I'm going to play Chaos Knights twice, Imperial Knights once. I just know it.
Because you're War Dog Will. That's why. Like, you gravitate them towards you.
Yeah, it's not because he takes War Dogs, because he faces War Dogs all the time.
Yeah, I play Chaos Knight in Imperial tournaments way more than I averagely should. Like, whenever I come back from a tournament, everyone always asks me two things. Will, did you get a draw? Because I get draws more than most people. And
do you know? I will say though. I will say that you do. Like I've never drawn a game of 40k, and like you've scored. I've seen the last couple of tournaments you've had a draw.
Sometimes the draw is because. So if we don't get to the game in time when I'm ahead and it's going to be a talked out victory to me, I'll offer my opponent the draw to sort of say like, rather than this be a thing, like you can accept the draw or we can have a talked out win to me. And the other way around, they have to offer it to me though, for it to be fair. Unless we're like start a turn 2, then it's like, mate, like I don't really think either of us can. It's either that or sometimes because in the last round, I'll ask them like, how many points do I need to like, where are we at with the game? They'll be like, primary, you're 6 points behind, then I'll just try and get 6 points. I don't sort of try and overachieve on 6. We're like, get a safe 6 points, so I could gamble and go for the win. I'll just have a safe 6 points. So yeah, it's a bit. It's just the way I've sort of play the game, to be honest.
So on your list, Will, what is it? So is the drone the big outlier for you? Is he the thing you're least happy with?
I just don't really know what he's doing. Like I want a more.
And is he spitters?
Yeah, he spitters. Like,
okay. I
just don't really feel like I don't like the Overwatch traps because I think the drone's Overwatch is a trap. I think whenever I spend that CP, he rolls 3 shots. I just feel like
don't tell your opponent that. Tell your opponent it's 6 every time.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
You're like, I wouldn't do that, mate. No.
Oh, yeah, you got to really build up. You got
this guy 12s all the time.
You know what? Yeah, maybe I manifest it because I expect the drone to roll 3 shots and I expect Typhus to roll a 1, and he always rolls a 1. So maybe
if I hear Typhus blows himself up again at this event for you, I will not be pleased.
I'm gonna jump on him if he does. I'm not actually gonna do that because I like my Typhus. But like, yeah, Typhus and Mortarion just infuriate me. Like last time I played Mortarion, I was gonna punch his wings off because he rolled too many 2s, and it just he always rolls 1s to hit or 2s to wound. So yeah, but the list is solid. Like when I think about it. It does everything like it's. Yep. It can hold its own in every matchup. The only thing I would have liked is a little bit more anti-tank, which is where the second inflicted blight hauler comes in.
Yeah.
But the drone probably at the end of 5 games is probably gonna be like the 20 poxwalkers were when I first took them, and I was like,
yeah, you're gonna be like, it's amazing.
Excited about them, and they've come back and they're now in a lot of lists. But at the time, I was like, why have I got this garbage unit in my list? I think the drone is probably going to be the same. I feel like right now we're like double spitter drone, shit, mate. And then like you're this time next week, mate, it was amazing. The double spitter drone was like the.
It won't even be that. I'll be at my table when you'll be over and you'll be like elbowing me, being like, that drone is amazing. It just picked up a whole squad of.
Yeah, do you know what? I bet that will be the case. And you want Typhus roll the fucking 1 again.
if we're very close tables wise at the point, and you're about to roll for Typhus, I will come and do it.
Yeah, you can borrow the dice. Yeah, you'll have to roll it for me. I might even get my opponent to do it. Say, can you roll this?
Good idea.
We'll see. We'll see how much Typhus if he just hates me or not.
Yeah. So just very quickly, because we had Chris Potter. I was going to ask you guys anyway, because. Chris Potter asked, do you guys like bringing Morty? He's a staple for me. Now, you guys both have not took Morty, correct?
Correct. For the first time in a long time, but not because of the same reason as Will.
Yeah, so we'll go. Well, let's go start with Will then. So
Morty's on the naughty shelf for me. He is. If Morty was a person, if Morty was my child, he'd be on the naughty step and not having any pocket money for so long. The last time I played him, he just it's embarrassing. It's like 5 dice. There's always going to be a 1 to hit. Fair play. Roll to wound. Reroll 1s is up. You need 3s to wound Morty. You've got to get 1 wound through. 3 2s. It'll be like it's consistent. So yeah. So Morty can. He's 300 points of ignoring mods, which generally, if that's all he's doing, just take 300 points of more stuff, and the dice will average out. So Morty can F off and come back when he does something other than normal. It's like like I say, if Morty was my child, it'd be on the naughty step with no Pokemon. If it was a sports team, he's not even on the bench. He's dropped. He's on a free transfer to anyone who wants him. So yeah, that's my opinion on Morty.
Go on, Dave.
Mine's a lot simpler. It's just that I wanted some more anti-tank, and I wanted a T12 model, so I put Land Raider in, and then that just freed up a bit more points in this list. I just wanted more guns.
That's fair. We do like Morty though. Well, Powell. In general, I've been running Morty a lot. Like you look at last event recap, I did Morty's in there. I really like ignore modifiers because when it comes to like mental maths and stuff, I just like people sometimes they just forget. They're just like, cool, I put this out here. I've done the mental maths. They used to pop in smoke. They used to pop in AOC. So they have this. When you play a game,
they go autopilot.
Yeah, they autopilot. And when you play a game, you get used to when you for example, if you played 18 Death Shroud for a month straight and you had 2 games a week, you'll start to understand the kind of damage output those guys can take and what they can't take. And then when you do your mental maths on stuff, not the maths. It's more the feeling. You just look at a situation, and go, yeah, they can tank that, and then you get used to that, and then suddenly you put yourself in that same position where you go, yeah, I can tank that. But you're thinking in your head, that's with Cloud of Flies, that's with cover, and then suddenly your opponent walks along with -1 save contagion, Boil Blights your ass so you aren't getting cover, and then also has Mortarion, so you can't Armor Contempt, you can't smoke, can't do anything like that, and your unit just gets picked up. And when something like that happens, it can really put people off. It really catches them off guard. So I really like Mortarion for that. Plus I roll a lot of 1s to wound, so I like him for that. And I like him to just be shot. I still don't understand why people just really like to shoot the big moth. They can't help it, literally. It's just he's got a big bullseye on him. So every bullet that's going at Mortarion isn't going at more important things like my Predators, my PBCs. I'll be honest, my Predators rarely died in that team in that last event. They just kind of got to sit and shoot all game, and it turns out 3 Predators shooting for 5 turns, Dave.
It does so much damage.
It's pretty good damage.
I mean, they just sit at the back and you just poke them out, and they just get angles. They get lines across the middle of the shooting lanes, and you're like, great. All the guns can pretty much reach all the time. You've got other things to be worried about, but then you're ignoring those, and they are chipping your army away over 5 turns, like you say. They do loads of damage. I think the other reason Morty's not in my list is I've got 400-point one model to then put another 300-point model in. Is a big chunk of my list. So, and the Knight can't benefit from Morty anyway. If the Knight could benefit from ignore mods, 100%, those two would be best buds holding hands. And
yeah, I mean, everything you said about Morty makes sense, but I don't know. I just find these 300 points underwhelming for me.
No, that's fair.
I expect him to do stuff in goody charge in combat, and as much as everything you said is legit, there are some games where he just dies way too cheaply as well. Whereas 300 points worth of I'd rather have 2 Plague Means and 2 squads of Plague Means and a Rhino than Morty, because I know that they can always even just stand there and deny primary for 2 turns. They don't have to they don't have to do anything else. Whereas Morty, they hit a point in the game and I said, right, Morty, now's your time to shine. Go and kill that thing. It's on 4 wounds and it doesn't have an invuln save, and you've just rolled 2 to wound again. Like, what are you doing?
Well, you need to be more positive with him. Just
I think maybe all these things happen because I'm manifesting their dice. Maybe so I'm I just expect Morty roll 2s. I expect Typhus to roll 1s, and I expect Protons to roll 3 to 5 shots. So yeah, maybe this is why. Maybe I need to be more optimistic, and maybe it'll change.
I mean, and same question back to you, Will, on mine is so what any list you're looking forward to playing? Anything you don't want to play? I mean, apart from the one that none of us want to play.
I mean, when it gets to Mordaka, I just hope the fella that I play is a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't expect to win it, but if we can have a laugh and make some silly jokes and things, that'll be that. I hope it's not someone who's we're turn 5 and he's absolutely hammering me, and he's being really, I don't know, precious about every millimeter of movement because he wants 100 points, and it's It's like, mate, you've absolutely smashed me here. I'm being pretty tight with my move, but like, come on, like, can we just have some fun? And it's just depressing. I'm just watching my army just evaporate in front of me. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
good
like,
point, Dave.
but yeah,
Dave Evans says, no nice guys playing Daka.
but yeah, but I'm like I say, I'm going there. My goal is with all UK TCs. I want to be. I'd love to be 4-1, but I want to be 3-2 before the final round if I can, and then the last game 4-1's on the cards, and it's when it's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like. But of course, that's not always the way it rolls. So we just got to see really.
Exactly.
But yeah, but I mean, so moving on a little bit then. So I share this in our list, so this will link to Aiden's team thing. So we've started talking about this list in our chat today because I shared it. It was basically Nurgling Jail with a gun line behind it. So like Al from our team, who's part of Team China, no one shot the list down and thought, I thought he thought he's going to shoot it down. That actually could work this well. Then he made some improvements. So we've basically got 4 units of 9 Nurglings, 2 Beasts of Nurgle, 3 Brigands, 3 Predators, 3 Blow Drones with heavy Blight Launchers,
Yeah.
1 character which is the Tallyman, and then 2 Blight Haulers. I'm really curious about this list now, but it's definitely a teams list in the sense of like
Very funny.
it's just trying to jail people when they fight out of jail, just blast them away. Because they're going to have to expose their army to kill the Nurglings. So you'll actually like get real shooting targets out of it. And I don't know how well it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be one of these. It's so incredible. It's either going to be toxically good or like it's absolute trash. I don't think there's any middle ground on it. But it's very much a teams build, which obviously Aiden's practicing for a teams tournament. So what are you looking at, Aiden, with some of the teams builds you've been sort of thinking about? Because I know you've been obviously sort of discovering WTC terrain recently. How is that affecting your lists and the way you're approaching it?
I'll be honest, not a huge fan of WTC terrain. It's just very weird. The layouts, like when you pick a UKTC, you go to a teams event, you pick like a heavy, a normal, or a light board, and all it does really is just change a little bit position of the terrain or like rotate a piece here or there. WTC, there's just completely different layouts, like it's just completely different boards you could play on. But it is quite dense. It is in general quite dense, so you can get melee armies into good places, which is quite nice. The main issue that we're sort of having with it is that when we come to our team comp, because obviously in teams you get to draft a team comp, Death Guard, from what I've been talking to people who play WTC, Death Guard's role in WTC is usually as a melee blunter, so you can't really play Plague Storm, you can't play the gunline build, it just doesn't work on WTC. So you tend to take, fight first brick of Plague Marines, big brick of 6 Death Show and minus some damage, maybe 2 of them bricks, and your entire job is to basically either go into a matchup and just hold it to a draw, or you get paired into a melee matchup and you just say you don't get to play the game, I kill you. So you either get a big win or worst case scenario, you basically lean on the durability that you have to just draw a game or hold it close. Which is fair enough. I was like, okay, cool, that's my role in this team, then I'm going to be the sort of anti-melee guy. And then we have the lists like started coming in for what people want to take, and we've got like Steven who wants to take Custodes, we've got some potentially taking Blood Angels, and now suddenly like my job isn't needed. Which is an issue because you don't want to take like 3 anti-melee armies in a team's event, because what if they don't have 3 melee armies, then you've just got like one thing. So I'm in a position right now where I am playing Death Guard, or I might even have to take Votan. I'm hoping not have to take Votan, but we'll see. I'm hoping to take Death Guard, but the role that is best for Death Guard on WTC I can't do, because other people are taking armies that can't do anything else. So go on.
I think I know what I'd do with you, Aiden, if this was teams. I think you need to go back to classic Aiden. Maybe it's even something similar to my list that I'm taking to Sheffield, because I'm almost copying you, to be fair. Go back to you just take all comers, 2-boxy list, and be first attacker or first defender. Like an all comers list where it doesn't really matter what they're putting, you're not scared of anything. And you either, if it's more Daka, you eat up that 20-0 so no one else has to, because unless you've got more Daka there, that's the way teams work. Or you put you out and you play for a draw, into something that's like bad into someone else. Or you express player skill and get a win out of something that shouldn't be. I think like that's where I put you in what you've said. Just go something like really toolboxy. It's not skewed anywhere. Just go right. Put me out first, lads. Doesn't matter what they put forwards. I've got this. You know, I can I can get it close to a draw. You know, it doesn't matter. And then you guys, you know, if I, you know, maybe it's more Daka, maybe it's that big one. You know, everyone's saying they're going to 20 hours. Doesn't matter who he plays in a 20 hours. I'll play them then, and I'll try and get 3 points out the game with just a toolboxy lists. I'll outplay them. I use my player skill, player expression. I'll come back 3 points for the team. I've gotten a bad matchup. You should have good matchups, right? 2 of you have 20-0'd them. 1 of you's gone 15-5. My 3 points. We've got a big win for the team. I feel like knowing you as a player and your player style, and if the team's already got this, maybe just take like what you would run the singles list, because WTC Terrain, the one good thing it's got loads of good staging points for like for toolboxy lists to just want to have infantry waiting here, a rhino stays here, which is your traditional play style. So maybe it's rather than trying to find a skew, go right, okay, they've got the skews, I'm gonna go toolbox, and I'm just gonna be like, you know, I'm just gonna be set. You're gonna be a safe pair of hands. Doesn't get run over anyone. Don't blow anyone out the park. But in teams, that's a really important role.
That's true. That's a very fair point.
I like it. I think it's good advice, Will.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
So that is something to consider. Like you said, if we just take sort of a take all comers, has no horrendous matchup, has no great matchups, and just try and, like I say, play to get points or play for draws, or if I get a chance, you know, to push somewhere, then push it. Thank you very much, Will, to Tom Williams and Commander HHL for coming play Marines. Massively appreciate the support, you
guys.
Two.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Again, go to our YouTube channel homepage, go to the post tab, you'll find a link to get yourselves in our Discord, and one of you will actually be our 777th member. Because we were on 774 this morning. So one of you will
Somebody
be the sacred, blessed Plague Marine member. So get yourself in that Discord real quick and make sure you are the 777th Plague Marine. That would be pretty awesome. But yeah, so that is a consideration, Will. And David Irvin, who's in the chat, I know you're on our teammate, and you're taking Daka. You're a bad man.
Bad man. Like you said, no nice people take more Daka.
True, he did actually. But
he did say that.
Dave's not nice, to be fair. Dave's awful. He's the one that bullied me into getting into competitive. Don't forget that. When he came to the local Games Workshop store and I played against him, and he tabled me turn 1. I didn't get a turn.
Yes, Dave.
I was playing Chaos Demons and he was playing triple Tau Tiger Shark, you know, the massive fucking planes.
Oh my god.
He got first turn, he flew over and tabled me. And I was like, well. And for
Welcome
some
to
reason,
40k.
Yeah, and for some reason that got me into competitive. Like, most people probably have the opposite. So yeah. Commander HHL, wait, what? I just wanted to like and subscribe. Well, you're part of the crew now, buddy.
Aiden, what was that you just said?
Like and subscribe.
Yes, like.
Oh, there we go. We haven't done that this episode, have we?
Yeah. I also wanted to jump back to somebody in the chat who said, Phil Gagner said, what are your thoughts on Hellbrute? If you take him, what loadout do you think is best? I certainly have a view on this, but guys, do you want to do a quick answer to that?
Heavy
we'll all have
bolter
different
and
views.
fist.
Yeah.
Will, what's your answer?
Don't bother. It's a waste of time.
Okay. The question is, if you take it, what's the loadout?
You know what? I'm gonna steal Aiden's loadout because I know Aiden's a member. So sorry, Aiden. I think it's the plasma gun. Is it plasma cannon? It's called, and the missile launcher.
That guy.
Because it's just more shots in it, so you've got more chance of hitting and landing the contagion. Because that's really what he's there for. But 130 points to do that, in my opinion, it's a once and done unit. You'll put him out, you'll do it, it'll feel amazing, and then the next turn he'll just die back. And it'll just be 130 points of, like, you can generally, for example, if you want the first turn contagion, Aiden did it in his list with you need a rhino as well to do this. Just take a banner guy and a rhino if you've got a rhino already. You get the same thing because he's jumping at the rhino with 3 inches, 5-inch move, and then advance and popping the 12-inch around his banner will probably touch the same thing that the Dreadnought was going to get, and it might even be something that you can't see behind the wall if you're using Plague Burst crawlers. So that would be my take. I think for me the Hellbrute, if he was -1 damage and had an invuln, I would have a different opinion, but he's just too squishy for me. I don't know what your opinion is on it, Dave, because I know you've sort of you're more gunline focused than me, so maybe he's in a threat rush, sort of like a threat saturation situation. Maybe he's a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I took him. I used to take him quite a lot in back into 9th, when I was taking a version of Plague Storm from that period, where because I had so many guns, I would then use he'd be, I'd also deliberately move all the tanks into the lines and then move the Hellbrute so that basically also people were like, I'm going to forget about that thing. That doesn't matter. But I would always run him with the twin link las cannon and the missile launcher, just so the las cannon was there to try and do some actual damage to something with him at range, but also to keep him far enough away that he wasn't just going to get picked up by something kind of unnecessary, like you said, because he's squishy. And there might be a vehicle that I just need to get a last 3-4 wounds off of, and actually the las cannon was quite good for that. And then the missile launcher was there because if the las cannon whiffed, then I could just fire a frag missile and get D6 shots to just get the guaranteed hit, also at 48-inch range. So that's very much why I used to. I never really put one out in the field aggressively. I'd always use it to tow out from behind cover, land a shot on something I want to put contagion on, and then blast that with all the other guns. I wouldn't really. That's the only context in which I could really see me taking one. I wouldn't take it like to be my main anti-tank in any way or anything like that. I think I agree with you. I think they're too squishy with that invuln.
I put it this way: for one Hellbrute, I could get 3 icon bearers, and they just do, if you really want to get contagion out there, I'd rather just took an icon bearer out, just for much cheaper, because the chances are by turn 3, when you got 9-inch contagion on stuff, you're just going to naturally start putting stuff into contagion range at that point. So. If you want to take one, they're not bad. I mean, a guy literally went 4-1 using one this past weekend, so they're not bad by all means. They're not like nothing in that index is like atrociously bad. Part of the Plague Surgeon, shut the fuck up. He's on my desk. I was telling him to shut up. He was probably going to give me some back chat. The Plague Surgeon. he's on my desk too. But he's actually irredeemable. But yeah. Sorry, go on, Dave. Were you going to say something? Was it Will? I can't remember who speaking.
No, I was going to say. I think another got a good summary on him is: say you've got two predators in your list and a Hellbrute, and the Hellbrute's there to put contagion on the unit for the predators to shoot. Mm-hmm. You better spend another 10 points, put the third predator in, and have the 3 predators shoot the same target. The math probably averages out the same place, and after it's dead, you've still got a third predator in the game doing other things. That would be my other take on it there. But yeah, I mean, like it's a choice where I think if you really want to put in it, you really want that trick. It's it's not like it's not terrible like Aiden. There's nothing bad in our index, but I think 130 points you could probably find better ways and
find
probably
10 points. And, yeah.
If I take him, I like Heavy Bolter Fist or Plasma Cannon Fist, because the Fist is a combi bolter, so you get 2 extra shots or potentially 4 extra shots if you're in rapid fire off that thing. So there's more chances to proc your contagion. The heavy bolter just has 3 flat shots all the time, so math says you should average hit 2 of them. So even on bad math, you should average hit 1 plus the 2 bolter shots in there. And then the Fist's just nice to have as like if someone's walking towards your tanks. They could potentially get charged by this guy. He does impact mortal wounds by his own rules. You could then tank shot for more mortal wounds, and then he's got a flat 3 damage, strength 12 fist to punch stuff with. That's the way I see it. He's just like in that role with the heavy bolter, he's just there to tag stuff with contagion, and then he kind of works like a backline sweeper, like Will's famous backline carnivore kind of deal, but just a lot slower and a lot worse than a backline carnivore.
He should, if it was just cheaper, it would get more use, right? But
it needs to have an invuln. Even an invuln, Dave's right. If it was like, do you know what? What would we pay for him with his current thing? I think 90 points.
90 points is what I was going to say. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
90. I could push it to 95.
10. I got 10 over here. I got 5 over here. 1 there. Who wants the Hellbrute? Hellbrute there. 50, 85, 90, 90. Sold.
Tom Williams claims the title of 777th Plague Marine. Congratulations, Tom Williams.
Well done, Tom.
You are the blessed Nurgle of Nurgles. So to just bring it back to the teams thing.
You cannot play any other army now, Tom.
Yeah, you're never allowed. So one thing I'm considering taking is, and it's because we're looking at the top end, because we want to try and get into the top end and beat the top armies. Chances are the top armies are going to include both Daka, which someone else can deal with that shit, but also Yunari, and Yunari a big problem. But one thing that actually, in test games and stuff, kind of shits on Yunari is Flyblown Host. Really weirdly. Because Yunari, the list that Yunari is taken to do well, often are like 2 squads of Dark Reapers, 3 squads of Fire Dragons, Striking Scorpions, and I tell you, guess what does not give a shit about 5 fusion guns and 5 missile launchers? 20 Poxwalkers,
600 Poxwalkers.
Yeah, And Eldar don't have much access to hit rerolls anymore, so they are actually like the Dark Reaper's obviously still hot on 3s, but again, it's 5 shots, like they kill like on average
Yeah,
like 3 guys, like who cares?
Yeah.
But like the melter guns, they be hitting you on 4s with no rerolls of any kind, so they could even drop a wound roll like here or there, especially if you put the -1 to wound stratagem on them. Like it can actually become a nightmare, and elves don't like punching poxwalkers to death because they wound them on 5s in close combat, and again, if you chomp a guy back, you get a guy back.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty brutal for them. So one thing we could do is, and it kind of actually ties back to what we were saying. So the idea that I'm having in my head is, we take Flyblown, knowing it's not going to be the greatest in the general game sense, as a take or comers list would will, but we try to lean on player skill to make up for the lack of its strength in the sort of normal lower table matchups. But when it comes to the higher table matchups, it actually shines as a counter, because not a lot of people have a counter to Ynnari. Most people are going to try and go like a Ynnari mirror. Whereas if we can Death Guard into their Ynnari, and a lot of Ynnari players haven't played it, they don't understand
It's a curveball. It's a real curveball to them. Yeah.
And a lot of players in general haven't played Flyblown and just don't understand it. They just look at it and go, I don't get what this does.
They've never seen it. They don't see it. We've seen like from the stats, they don't play. It doesn't get played at events, at big tournaments. So these top players don't play it.
I think that there's definitely logic there, but I think the worry I would have with it is, do you actually get that in pairings? Because the problem with Flyborn is it has lists that can prey on it, and in teams they might have 2 lists that can prey on it. Then you might put that forward and they go, do you want a kick in the nuts or a punch in the face? You pick which one you want, because do you know what I mean? That's
at the same time,
Ynnari goes elsewhere.
This is where, at the same time, it's the lack of knowledge against it is if you go, if you take the Death Shroud breaks with the -1 damage sorcerers, a lot of melee matchups look at that and go, oh, it's Death Shroud -1 damage, I don't want to deal with that. When the reality is they're the ones that want to go into Flyblown and go smash it. So actually, and again, it maybe plays on player knowledge a bit.
Still winning that matchup, to be honest. I still think it's a good matchup, because you still shut down World Eaters in the same way.
Exactly, but I think that it just adds a bit of tech to our team, because look, I can play Flyblown versus, like, we don't want our Custodes players running to gun lines. I can play against gun lines. I can play against most things. It has tricks. It holds prime. Like, worst case scenario, I can
just play a really defensive game, and
I can play to a draw with Flyblown pretty consistently, because the entire list is just made to score shit. You bring like Beast and Urgle, you bring some things. You bring like maybe a Predator or 2 for just heavy bolters to just be like, ooh, scary on the flanks.
Would you not put Brigands in now?
You potentially could.
Because the Brigands don't lose, you still get the AP, and now Predators and Brigands are only 25 point difference.
Yeah, even Carnivores.
In Flyborn specifically. Yeah, in Carnivores.
You do. I think I would. I know say 25 points, but when it's 2 of them, that's 50 points difference.
But you're adding the extra AP, because you've got to remember with your Predators, as soon as you got them Predators, you can't add the Contagion on top in Flyborn, so they lose a lot of their efficiency, whereas the Brigands still have that because you just shoot the nearest target. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I guess of those, but that is into infantry. You are getting the additional AP, and that's most stuff that's going to be kind of coming onto points and stuff like that. And if you park 20 Poxwalkers behind on an objective behind a wall, and then you're not going to get it's not really going to get a vehicle come around the corner too easily and park on that. Like, it's more likely to be infantry, and therefore if you have got whether it's a Brigand or a Predator floating at the back, to then just go, if you poke anything around the corner, then I'm just going to blow it off, and I've still got 20 OC sat on there. Yeah. So I think you're right. Regardless of whether it's a Brigand or a Predator, I think
I think in Flyborn, I think Brigands make sense, but only in Flyborn. I think in Play Company, I would definitely take Predators. Weirdly, I was sort of like Brigands over Predators, and then more. Now they've added 10 points to Predators. I'm like, I can't not put lists in them. Like, I've had this at work, because I'm self-employed. I won't talk what to do for work, but I've been told before, like, oh, you're too cheap. Like your prices are too cheap, and that puts people off. And I keep thinking about this with Predators, and they're 130. I'm like, oh yeah, like they're cheap enough. Now they're 140. Nothing's changed. I'm like, yeah, they're valuable now. I need to put 3 in. Like, I don't know. It's
a product psychology. It's a really famous thing that if something is more expensive, it's perceived as being better. So that's just how humans can't but help to do it. It's why you kind of go, oh, I'm walking into a electrical store and I want to buy, or I'm on Amazon, I want to buy a £500 TV, and I set a budget of £500 in my head. And it's like, but that TV is £550, and it's kind of similar. So it's got to be a bit better. So actually, I won't mind spending a bit more money to get it. It's you're probably having the same kind of effect.
I've got that going on with Predators right now. Every list has 3 Predators.
Suddenly they are better.
Yeah, like it's really weird. Like them going up in points just made me want to use them more.
So very quickly for Necros in chat, he's put, this sounds to me like you're trying to really hard to spec for his very specific matchup, which is kind of true. The argument so far is good against Yunari and people who don't know better. So that's not technically true. So
No.
Flyblown is actually pretty good against most shooting arms.
Most.
It's just, you gotta remember in teams, it's not necessarily about me trying to get a win. It's all about points differential. So I can comfortably know I can put Flyblown on a table and score points. It's so hard to stop it scoring points because it's just so
the things
much
that are,
trash.
And it scores tactical better than the Play Company does.
the things that are red for Flyborn would be green for the rest of your other team. So as long as you can avoid them, for example, you don't want to play Chaos Knights with 6 Brigands. No. You don't want to play, I don't know, Iron Storm with 2. I forget what they're called. The tank that's got loads. Yeah, with 2 Reapers. You don't want to play stuff like that. Whereas other things in your team comp are probably rubbing the hands if they like
you give me
into
guard,
that.
cool. I'll fight guard because as soon as I get into combat with them, I'll keep eating the guys and resurrecting guys, and then like they're all hitting me on 5s all the time. It just goes from there, and you have all the little tricks for the extra pilings and things like that. So it has actually more better matchups than you think, and it has quite a lot of neutral matchups. And the thing is, what we're trying to do on this one is then bringing back this is not for singles Necros. This is not.
Necros is not. Yeah.
But we're trying to lean on, so when the matchup may not be as favourable to Flyblown, that's when we go back to Will's thing where we try and lean on the player skill element of it to sort of even up the sort of mismatch and at least hold it to a draw. Because I'm not there for guts and glory. Like Death Guard in general in teams doesn't tend to 20-0, but it can. It's capable, but it doesn't tend to because it's too slow. Can't get on top of people quick enough to crush them. But like that's what Steven's there to do with his custodians. He's there to run them down. That's what Mike Porter's there with his GSC and Ben Jones and Dave on his Dakar. I just need to be the person that brings back 10 points. I don't need to go for glory.
Because you've just I didn't know you had Porter on Gene Stealers. Actually, Flyborn makes more sense, and because what preys on Flyborn preys on Gene Stealers as well. So, for example, because some team comp will have that, we'll put something in there to eat up hordes, and if someone's put 2 and you're the only horde, you're gonna, do you know what I mean? Like they're gonna give you the 2 when you're going to just pick between the worst one. Yeah. But if you've got Gene Stealers, and there's one list that just picks up light infantry, and it's like, well, do you want to have a go at Flyborn or do you want to have a go at Mike Porter? Do you know what I mean? And then one of you gets an easy
but I was going to say, Will, it's actually the case you go, do you want the world's #1 Death Guard player or do you want Mike Porter? Kind of, it's a pretty poor decision either way, I think.
That's it, but it's not. It makes more sense if you've got 2 lists with lots of infantry. Like if you're the only horde list, that would be a bit of a worrying thing to me because, like I say, I think you would be better with a toolboxy list, just taking points out of games that you shouldn't have. Whereas you could, because Flyborn is it does this one thing and it does it really well. If you come against, I know you do this one thing, but I do this other thing, which is the hard counter. Do you know what I mean? If it just turns into rock, paper, scissors, whereas you can take that out with a more mixed build. But because you've got Mike Porter there, it might be the kind of thing where what preys on him wouldn't prey on you. And then you can kind of, for example, if Porter says, I think I'm going to be dicey, that's a bit drawish. And then you go, okay, well, I'll play them. And then Porter gets a fucking 20-0. And then you lose, but get 5 points. And the overall for the team, your differential is going to push, and the team's got a better chance of winning because you had 2 lists and people didn't bring enough sort of stuff to prey on them both.
The idea as well is that I think Ben's going to take Yunari, and if he takes Yunari and they have Yunari, every other table that's there is going to put Yunari into Yunari because Yunari, no one else wants to face it. The idea being that we would have a choice that if they put down if I put down me and they give me Yunari and something else, I'd actually take the Yunari, which would free up our Yunari player to go and smash someone else. Because if that ever happens, if anyone ever makes that mistake and gives Flyblown Yunari and gives my Yunari player someone else of theirs, that can end the round right there. Because if Flyblown destroys the Yunari, and our Yunari then destroys theirs, and maybe we get like a 15-5 to Flyblown, and then our Yunari gets 20 and over someone, game's just over, like right there. You can't recover from being 35 points down. So there is potentially that.
Yeah, like you said, the teams go. But there's 2 things. A, I've just gifted myself a membership somehow. I don't know how that's happened.
Well done, Dave.
Oh, thank you very much, Dave.
Well, we've got 111 people watching, so yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, no, I was going to say, and also I totally get what you're saying. It's like if we free up Ben with Eldari to go and get a 20 somewhere else, and you can draw by putting yours into there. It's weighing up what the are we netting out more points by dividing it that way than just using this to blunt that, and and then actually the fly blown into something else isn't as useful. So it's kind of the good thing about teams, right? It's a bit like a little chess.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, the other thing to look at, by the way, is this is something that you haven't, and this kind of maybe to go back the toolboxy thing. If you build something that's a little bit indirect spammy, like if you deliberately bring 3 PBCs,
There's also that.
no one's really prepared for indirect at the moment because a lot of other armies have moved away from it, whereas we still can do it if we're willing to invest in the PBCs. You could build a list that go, right, okay, I accept that if I get paired into knights and armor, this is going to be rough, but I'm going to build a list that preys on infantry and put me in anything elite infantry. I will blast it behind walls, and when it comes out, I've got some Death Shroud or whatever. I can, that would be another option for you. Something just eats infantry alive, and there's no hiding from it. There's no, when it comes out, you've got Fight First Plague Marines waiting for it. Those are all things that work well on there. So I think there, 3 potentials you could look at. Like maybe even submit a list for all of them, and then let the rest of the team decide. And just be like, what do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Like, could be an option.
Yeah, that's the thing. That one thing Death Guard can do is that we can just play a save, like Plague Scrolls. Like you said, keep it back, just focus on holding my natural, keeping them off the middle all game, and just play from there. And like you said, you're never going to get 20 over that kind of build because you just can't push into Plague Company Death Guard because it will just kill you.
Yeah.
So there's obviously that option too.
It sounds like an interesting comp. I'm very curious to see how you do, especially with Mr. Irvin on the team. I'm sure we'll know all about that next time we're traveling to an event together. But I mean, so what else have we got on the agenda for tonight then, guys? Because obviously I'm just looking at the time now. Just want to make sure we sort of keep it. I mean, I don't have to rush away for anything particular. But
I thought it was just I just wanted to check in really on Sheffield. Yeah, I just wanted to check in on Sheffield, really, see what how you felt about your list, Will, and what's going on, and then like Aiden's teams, and yeah, I think there's some just chat. I've got some questions. I think so Hospos was just saying I want to try Flyblown Host, but it's hard to let go of all our cool debuffs. That probably going to be changed by the Codex release anyway, but I'm still reluctant. Yeah, look, I think that's a good point, right? That you don't know what's going to be coming with that. So do you want to play as much Play Company as you can in its current iteration on the basis that it might go, or
I've got a hot take on Play Company, so I don't want to cut you off.
No, go on, go, Will.
I think Play Company is going to exist. I don't think Play Company is going anywhere. What I think they will do, our -1 save aura, I think that might turn into something else, and it's everything else but with that, and I think they'll improve all the data sheets. We've got more AP, and the -1 save just becomes, I don't know, something like, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what another thing they could throw would be -1 strength to an opponent instead. I don't know, maybe it's something like that.
Make I can see them. I'm telling you, make it Gladius. Let us use all the containers 1 turn a game. That'd be great. And it would take away how powerful it is. It would tone it down quite a bit. But add flexibility, and like you said, but I would 100%. I will trade in -1 save contagion or just a better baseline stats because that will make our
better stats across the board. Yeah, that would be good.
Thank you very much, Laser Chicken, for the Kitty membership again as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because the -1 save, it's a patch for the fact that we've got no AP outside of that. It's deliberately why it's there, in my opinion. Again, the same way Nurgle Demons, if they were going to bring the Codex back, they need something similar. Like they've just got not enough AP to make them effective at killing, and we're the same problem. Outside of that, everything pretty much caps at AP2, and most things are AP1. So but if everything, I mean, this is the other thing I'm really curious. If everything goes to AP3, for example, and the AP just improves, I'll straight away look at Flyborn again before I even look at the other detachments in the in the Codex. Sorry, because it might be all of a sudden all those buffs make a lot more sense when everything's AP3. So yeah, very curious to see what happens with the Codex.
So Nick, just in the chat very quickly, he says, why do you think Plague Company be removed? Okay, so Plague Company, we're not saying this will be removed, but it's definitely going to get changed. Plague Company, our army's baseline data sheets are pretty bad. The entire army is held up by how strong Play Company as a detachment is. Play Company is stupidly strong. If Play Company was given to any other army in the game, it would be broken entirely. Like if Eldar could have Contagion -1 save, absolute insanity. So when they make our codex, they will more than likely update our data sheets to make them actually not terrible. In doing so, they will have to tone down Play Company. So when we say it won't survive, we mean it won't survive in its current iteration.
In this current format.
Yeah, because it can't, because it would be so oppressive. So, for example, if they wanted to fix like some of our stuff and they increase the AP on our weapons baseline to make them good in all detachments, you then can't have a -1 save contagion, because then you'll have an army of just pure AP4, which I tell you right now, it's an army of pure AP3 most of the time. It's already pretty grim for most armies. I tell you, to pull it up even more would be a bit too much.
Yeah, like for example, if it's so what the example I'm giving is exactly the same point Aiden's making. I think if it stays, they might keep the stratagems the same. They might keep -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill the same. They might keep -1 OC the same. But that specific thing will go, and that's the thing that we use Play Company for. More than for example, they could add in instead -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill, -1 OC, -2 move when you're in the aura, and that might be the new Play Company with the current strats and sticky objectives, and then it's one of the 7 detachments is what I suspect will happen, because I think as we were alluding to why people think it's going to go away, the -1 save, if they improve the data sheets, could become broken. And that's
I just want, I was saying it for months and months and months, I just want our contagion range to just debilitate like other people's stuff. We don't need it to be
reactive move, no up down
it. No reactive move, no deep strike, no like
that would be so funny. Like can't use stratagems that any unit that's in contagion range would be
and you're vected. We thought this might be a good final kind of question to, because I can imagine we'll talk about this for a few minutes. Ross Tully in chat, hey Ross, how you doing? I'm sure you guys probably played Ross or know Ross as well. He said, how does it on all Groot list beat Death Guard? Asking for a friend.
just jail it, mate. Don't worry, just jail it.
If it isn't spec'd right, jail it, and it can't kill its way out too quick enough. That's the number one thing about it. If, however, you run into 18 Death Shroud in this list and other flamers in it and PBCs, it's going to fight its way out pretty quick. That's basically, if it isn't set up like that, then jail it. It doesn't change your game plan too much.
Commander HHL, thank you for returning the gift and bringing a gifted membership to the channel. Massively appreciate it, and bringing someone else into the fold, mate. Really appreciate that. So really one last question there I'll say is from Phil Gagnon. He says he uses the -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill more than he uses -1 save and do better with it. Why do you feel -1 save is better? So we say it a lot. Dead models, 1, deal no damage, but also 2, the main factor is as you go higher up the skill level, and you say you're 4-0 now, you're going to 5-0. A good opponent will just never let you use -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill. Against melee matchups, sure, because there's nothing they can do about that. Yeah. But shooting matchups especially, they will just never give it, because they have a whole movement phase to get out of it and then shoot you to pieces. So, and you also lose a lot of damage output yourself, and when they play around it, they're not actually losing any damage output. It controls the position a little bit, but they'll make sure they'll have stuff like, you think, okay, because if I have massive ballistic skill, they have to choose between coming onto the objective or shooting me. That sounds great in principle. What will happen instead is the crisis suit team will back up and shoot you, and a unit of crew will walk onto the objective next to you, and you will still lose the point. So it is better, and you can see for most of the, not all admittedly, but most of the successful Death Guard players that have gone 5-0, Liam VSL, ourselves, stuff, have all lent on the -1 save, because it is just so much better to bring that damage to your list and smash your opponent rather than trying to play around surviving. Like, durability is okay for Death Guard, but nothing special, whereas damage output is the one thing we do insanely well. Like, our damage output in contagion range is crazy high, and people really don't respect it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you've got a playstyle though that works with a -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill, you know, if you're winning games, don't change it. You know, obviously, if you start you're losing games, then maybe what Aiden just said kicks in. But at the same time, if you're winning games with it, you know, don't get too worried about, because I definitely get caught up in this. And as we talked about on one of my solo series, I get caught up in looking at other people's success and then trying to replicate it with a play style that isn't there. So I'll try and take like one little thing. So, for example, if weapon skill ballistic is working for you, there's a guy on our team at the moment called Kyle, and Kyle takes weapon skill ballistic all the time, and I look at him and think you're mad, and then he wins all his games, you know. But he's winning, you know, other people on our team. When he goes to tournaments, he kind of does about 3-2. But at the same time, that's his play style, that's who's developed, and he's doing really well with it. Like, you know, he's really overachieving. So if you've got something that works, don't necessarily change it. But what Aiden's saying, if you start going to tournaments and you find you're capping at a 3-2 result, maybe the contagion is something that could sort of push you to that next level. But at the same time, if you've wrote lists around -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill, don't feel that you need to incorporate, you know, like the reality with this game is if you're winning, it doesn't matter as long as you're not cheating.
What works
doesn't
for
matter
you.
what, do what works.
Yeah. Very quickly to Blue Run, who's asking basically about the 2v2 rules, and Dave has answered it. Yes, our Death Guard contagions do work for that. If your opponents are complaining that it is unfair, that our contagions work that way. One, you're playing 2v2s. The game is not balanced for 2v2s. So stop fucking crying, for one, and being a baby about it. But yes, that is the way the rule works. Just as such, if you shoot something with a unit that says, until the end of the phase, that unit cannot gain the benefit of cover anymore, that would also apply to your friends.
That would also apply.
Is that unfair?
Because... And also, if you're playing another 2v2 and they've both got Ultramarines and they've got 100 CP and 4 oaths a turn, you know, fair? You can tell. Is that fair? I would tell them that just go. All right, well, fine. I won't. They don't count as being in -1 toughness, but you don't get 2 lots of oaths.
If you're going to complain about doubles, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Doubles is
a carnage casual.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Doubles is just there for fun. You don't go into.
Just tell your opponent to drink more beer and have fun.
Agreed. Or Cherryade, either or.
Or Cherryade. Other drinks are available.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so have you guys got anything else to add on for tonight?
No, I don't think
Not
so.
really,
I mean, just about, you know, Sheffield at the weekend. Same, you know, if you want to come say hello, feel free.
Yeah,
a lot of people have started doing it now, and it is quite nice.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know if there's much else to do. I mean, you know, safe up this weekend, Aiden. I run what feels like one of your lists, and I don't do particularly well, and I feel like, maybe I should have got some coaching. Where can I go to get such coaching?
You can check out our friends at Vanguard Tactics. They do all sorts of like coaching somewhere. I am the Death Guard coach for them, but they also do all sorts of like live battle reports. They have an academy that's just I think it's still open, I believe, Dave, isn't it?
I think so. It'll be closing. I think it closes in a little while, but I think there's still time to get in there.
So if you want to sort of up your game to the next level and you don't mind putting a little money down for it, then you can go check out those. But again, even if you don't want to do that, they've got tons of free videos on their YouTube channel you can check out to learn more stuff. However, if you were interested in buying some new models, maybe for that new list you just worked out with your Death Guard coach, and you need to go and buy some, where could we get some models from?
Well, you could do Element Games using our affiliate link. It's a link that's in, I think, it's on the homepage that's handling most of video descriptions. It doesn't cost any more money from your side. It gives a little kickback to the channel, and just, you know, it's one of these things. Just helps us keep going what we're doing. But Dave, he's not wearing it today. He's not as cool and fashionable as he normally is, wearing his latest threads. We do have some Disgusting Resilient branded merchandise. Tell us more about that, Dave. Where might we get such snazzy designs?
You guys can just head over to drpstore.com, where you can find a selection of t-shirts, hoodies, and other such things, caps. They are all manufactured with a partner business, and they're shipped directly, so we get a little bit of a kickback from that. So once again, another way to, mostly, to be honest, rep the channel out there. It's really cool to see when people are wearing our gear. So that's another great thing. And if you want to get hold of some dice, you can click on the link in the description of this video for Baron of Dice. They are on sale. They have been flying out. The guys who run Baron of Dice said that their words exactly were, they flew out, mate. And they've actually shipped some more in. So I think it's only about a week before the next lot actually arrive with them, and they'll start shipping again. So if you want them, get orders in. They look great. Everyone that I've played at club with on Friday said that they all came over and were looking at them, and they were like, these are awesome. So yeah, looking forward to getting those in. And finally, you can go and check out Saltire Games. Link once again in the description. Those guys have DRP branded gaming aids, so deep strike markers, what rounds you're in, contagion trackers, all those good things. It's all in a bundle. It's branded, Disgusting Resilient, and once again goes a long way to helping the channel.
Yeah, and if you are interested in some of those dice here in the UK at the moment, I'm making a group order.
Yes, good point.
I'm going to put it through probably this weekend, just waiting for payday to come along. and then I've already got 2 people involved, just so we can save on shipping in the UK. So if you're in the UK, you want to get the dice, but you don't want to pay the 27 quid for shipping because it's from America, unfortunately. That is expensive these days. Then let us know on the Discord, and we can work out how to do it, and we can basically pay for one lot of shipping, and then when it comes to me here, I'll ship it out to you guys for 3 quid or whatever it is for Royal Mail these days, and we can all save a bit of money together. So let me know. I know there's 2 people currently interested plus myself there. So if you're in the UK and you're interested and you're a member, let me know on the Discord merch and dice page. And last but not least, if you're enjoying the stream music you hear during the stream at the start or the end, you can check out our Spotify, which I will put a link in the chat, but it's Discussing Resilient Podcast Music. Quite easy to find, and you can listen to all the tunes there at your own leisure. But for now, I think that is about everything, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just like and subscribe.
There you go.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone that became a member tonight. Remember, guys, it's super easy to join, and as Aiden said at the beginning, less than the price of a cup of coffee, and you get to join the Discord with everyone else. And now everyone needs to work on being who's going to be the 7,777th member of the Discord, because 777 has just gone.
Yeah, and we're getting
and
close
also,
to that 10k sub goal as well.
Oh my God, we are. Yeah, what are we at? 9.3 now.
9.3, yeah.
Wow.
Also, I want to shout one thing out because I listened to it yesterday. I was making my lasagna. Really enjoyed the recent Chaos Pantheon chat. If anyone hasn't listened to that, go back. It's great to hear what's happened with World Eaters, Thousand Suns. And also, if there is someone out there who's starting to rep Emperor's Children, maybe we need to reach out to Vic or someone like that. I'm sure we need the fourth member of the Pantheon now.
The of the apocalypse.
yeah. But we had really good talk. It's nothing to do with myself or Dave. It was just Aiden and those other guys. But I found it really informative, really interesting.
It's really good.
Just a good chat.
And the one final little statistical thing as well is we've also just crossed 750,000 views on the channel.
Woo!
So in a couple of weeks we'll be at 77777 views as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll try and catch that one.
Yeah, and obviously with the Codex due, I obviously expect the content to explode when that comes out. But for now, if you do enjoy the channel, our Tuesday streams are a weekly thing at this point. I often do a plague surgery or something else, another stream at the weekends. There's at least 2 streams a week. Sometimes we fit in a cheeky third one plus a video. So we will try our best to keep the content flowing for you guys. But please understand, this is not our jobs. We do this all on the side of our job. So sometimes there's a couple of days where something might not go up. It's not because we forgot. It's not because we forgot about you. Although saying that, we do have one small announcement. That is that just for the next 3 months or so, I actually need to take a step away from the channel. So I'm going to leave it in the hands of Dave mainly to do it. I know Will was here before me, but Dave's just got a bit more of a free time at the moment. So I will not be making any content for the next 3 months, mainly just to do with work commitments and things like that. Which is
we'll hold it down.
It's unfortunate, yeah. I'm not exactly thrilled about it, but I've got some other things like I want to pursue as well on the side, so I've got to go look at them a little bit. And sometimes you got to spread your wings a little bit. So I am leaving it in the best of hands though with Mr. Deathguard Dave and Mr. Wardog Will here. So I just want to say for now, because obviously I was one of the original founders, thank you so much for supporting the channel, for everything that you've done. And I will be back. We'll be back,
but we'll miss you for a bit, Aiden.
Yeah, unfortunately so. So I suppose on that I will do our sign offs, I suppose. So
yep.
So from what Mr. Wardog Will, anything to say?
No, just look forward to seeing you at Sheffield, and yeah. Woo!
Yeah, I will look forward to seeing you there, Will. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good weekend. And yeah, Aiden, do you want to do a final sign off for a little while?
Yeah. So for everybody, stay rotten, take care, and April's Fools, motherfuckers. I'm not going anywhere. See you later, guys.
From the depths of your decaying rise, the death cloud marches and the sickening skies. In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators was lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarion's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarion stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged ties, blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarion's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarion's fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends. In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald, beneath poison skies. With Nurgle's rot I lay worlds to waste. The Reaper's scythe, no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death god, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death god, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Blameless howl, the gassing walls, the pestilent tides, new life is born. Nurgle's blessing, a twisted grace. I embrace your heart in my golden embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.